Rats eat eggs.
Hello, everybody. This podcast is Lava. My name is James Font, and with me today we have Silas Whitlock, Sam Shoemaker, and our very special guest, Richard Alba.
Hello.
So Richard, the reason we have you here today is to talk about, I guess, your life.
Ooh.
How do you feel about that?
I don't know. There's a lot of secrecy in my life.
A lot of secrecy, and now it's all going to be on the internet.
Maybe.
So you were telling us on the way, telling me on the way over here, about your movie theater days.
Oh, yes.
When you worked in the movie theater.
Yes.
First of all, where'd you grow up? Sorry.
Woodville, Ohio, Sandusky County. Born and raised here in Ohio.
Okay.
Yes.
I thought you grew up in New Mexico, but I think that was a different guy.
He probably was. Yes. I graduated in 1964 and decided to join the Air Force under the buddy plan.
Buddy plan?
Yeah. A couple of my friends said, "Come on, Rich. We can do it." There was 4 of us in the beginning. And then about a week, about 3 weeks passed, and next thing I know, 2 of them are dropping out, and me and poor Tom ended up going to Cleveland, Ohio to take our tests. And he failed and I win. So much for the buddy plan.
So you got drug along into it, and then you're the only one that made it.
Here I thought I was the dumbest one in the class, and I'm the one that passed.
That's fantastic.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it was unreal. I was shocked, in fact.
And so, where did you go from there?
They sent us right away to basic training in San Antonio, Texas.
San Antonio, Texas. How was basic?
Oh man, I tell you, I got there because I got the mumps. I was supposed to leave 3 days after my graduation, and but I got the mumps. So,
oh no!
So
what are the mumps like?
Ooh, you look like a old stuffed chipmunk. Your neck's all puffed out and stuff, And you had to lay in bed for 30 days, can't do nothing. And then as soon as I got well, straight to San Antonio, and the rest is history.
Okay.
Yeah, it was okay.
So what branch did you go into? You went to the Army, didn't you?
Air Force.
Air Force,
yes,
you're in Air Force.
And I got there in June, in the hottest months of the year, June, July, August. I didn't come back home till mid-September of 64.
Okay.
I spent my 18th birthday here, as a matter of fact.
Oh, really?
Yeah, 21st in the NAM, but
okay.
I think those are important ages in everybody's life.
18, and then because then you can start smoking cigarettes.
Exactly.
Legally.
and 3-2 booze at the time.
I guess, yeah. They changed that semi-recently.
Yes, they did.
Okay. And so then, did you choose to go? You were in active duty, or were you in the reserves?
4 years, yeah. I figured I might as well get it over with. I didn't want to be on active reserve.
I don't blame you.
NAM was getting hot.
Yep.
And I decided I didn't like the water.
Okay.
Couldn't swim. In the Army, I knew you had to spend a lot of time on your belly.
Yep. Underwater.
Yeah, really. And then in the Corps, it was too rough for me.
Yeah, the Corps is pretty.
Yeah.
From what I've heard, the Corps is the toughest one to get into.
Yes, it is. But I stayed there till September. They sent me to Police Academy School.
Okay.
And
did you choose that, or they?
No. They put me in there.
They just put you in there.
Yeah. They give you a test, see how smart you are and everything. 5 different tests: general, mechanical, stuff like that.
Yeah.
I scored pretty good in accounting and stuff, but
you didn't want to be a bookie.
Well, nah. They just they needed more cops, I guess.
Because nobody likes cops, and nobody likes military police either.
Yeah,
especially.
I was about 5'9.5". I weighed maybe 120 pounds.
Okay.
But when I had that service revolver and that nightstick,
you were 6 feet tall.
Oh yeah, and 240. And
240 at least.
King of the camp, right?
Really, that little badge, that tin badge, boy, I tell you, it gets a lot of respect.
I imagine it does.
Back in the day, I don't know about now.
Well, neither.
I imagine it still does. But.
Probably it gets respect or just talked about behind someone's back.
Oh, I'm sure it did then as well.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Now, did you have any buddies when you were in the military police?
Well, yeah. And the best advice I got was from a Korean veteran, Sergeant McLaughlin. I'm sure he's in heaven now. At the time, he was in his mid-50s. He was a staff sergeant, and they were just letting him retire whenever he wanted to. But he told me, he says, "Hey, Rich," he says, "when you get over there, don't become tight friends with anybody. Don't buddy, because you never know what's going to happen, and you're going to miss your friend." So I took that advice to heart. I was friends with everybody, not
You were friendly with him,
friendly,
yeah.
you know. I'm buddy, you know.
So you were in the military police in San Antonio?
No. That was my training, the academy.
Okay.
And then they sent me to Montana, Malcolm Air Force Base. That was ICBM system. Alpha A through Alpha Z, 26 stations, and at each station they had 10 ICBMs. And our job was, if any kind of movement, everything was like radar, sonar, we had to go out there and make sure that the fence was secure and stuff like that. Interesting job. I enjoyed it.
For those of us who don't know, like me, what is an ICBM?
Intercontinental ballistic missile.
Okay.
Wow.
Awesome.
I don't even know if they still exist. You know,
They probably got something bigger now.
Yeah, probably multi, anyways.
Yeah.
Yeah. And from there, I spent 2.5 years, and it's weird that how life works. I was there almost 2 years, and we were going home from midnight shift to the barracks, and this moron that was driving the car, there was 4 of us in there, sideswiped a vehicle on base.
Wow.
That's not good.
Boy, he got the worst of it, but we all got sent out like 3 months later. 2 of them went to Thailand, one went to Cambodia, I went to Nam, and I think one of them went to the Philippines. But, you know, if you can't put them in jail, get them off the base, you know. That's the first time I ever heard Lieutenant Vogel say, I had just come back from delivering some prisoners in the state of Washington, Corps members, in fact. And I had just come back, and he says, "Hey, Alba." "Yeah, Lieutenant. You just jumped from the pan to the fire."
Uh-oh.
Oh my gosh.
So I thought to myself, what the hell is he talking about? And that's exactly what I asked him. I said, "What are you talking about?" He said, "You got your orders today to go to Tan Son Nhut Air Base, Saigon, Republic of South Vietnam." I was a jaw dropper, man.
Jeez.
I didn't expect
You weren't
that.
expecting that at
No,
all.
because they said once you got to Maelstrom, you would probably spend your 4 years there, you know. I was already
geez.
there 2 years.
Oh, geez.
But because of this accident this moron had, I had to pay the price too.
So what did you do when you went there?
You mean in Nam?
Yeah.
Yeah, we did the inner and outer security for Tan Son Nhut Air Base. It was one of the major landing airports commercially for the troops coming in and out. And it was interesting. 4,500 men, I'd figure, taking a
geez.
wild guess. And we did all 3 shifts, inner and outer security.
Okay.
It was very interesting.
And then what did you tell us, or what did you, we had you at a party, and what did you tell us they gave you to stay awake?
That was
Or was that later?
Yeah, that was no. We had a firefight, and our troops were working the 8 in the evening to 4 in the morning shift.
8 in the evening to 4
4
in the morning.
Holy cow.
And then the other shift would take from 4 in the morning to noon.
So they had shifts for the firefight,
Yes.
essentially.
Well, more or less. See, the first shifters that was supposed to relieve us, they had to wake them up, and everybody went all over because we were being attacked.
Mm-hmm.
So the first shifters were relieved first. The fight itself lasted maybe 2.5 hours. Started about midnight, 12:30. So by 3 o'clock, they had cleaned up, polished up. And so the first shifters had to go sleep. And finally, us third shifters, 4 in the morning, 8 to 4 in the morning, we got off at 11 in the morning, and then we had to turn around at 8 o'clock and go back to work.
Oh, jeez.
Oh my gosh.
Well, to make a long story shorter, even we killed about 23 VC. We lost a few dogs, I think 2 airmen. And on the way to go munch at the mess hall, I noticed that these South Vietnamese people that come on base to work, they were lining up against this road, and I saw some figures on the pavement on the road there, and I caught my curiosity, so I walked over about 3/4 of a block, and well, they were displaying off the dead bodies. It was gruesome, and the point for that, the reason for that was psychological warfare.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
this is what's going to happen to you if you try this stunt. You know, and make a long story shorter, we had a gentleman that got a Silver Star. We had an airman that just got there wasn't even there at 5 days. He got killed.
Oh, jeez.
Jumping off the back of a truck to go take cover, and he got shot, I guess. I didn't know too much more about that. But the guy that won the Silver Star, James, they say he was asleep. So when all the crap came down, it happened in his sector.
Mm-hmm.
And they say that he was asleep. Luckily, he was at a post where there was 2 guys, a machine gunner plus his friend or his helper. And once that shit started, excuse me. Once everything broke down, they say he got up. He was so scared. He was in shock, and he got up and grabbed that M60 and just started scraping the area where they say he didn't know what he was doing, but he ended up killing about 10 of them.
Oh my
wow.
gosh.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And he got the Silver Star. 2 weeks later,
Uh-oh.
they caught him asleep again. They made him sergeant with that promotion along with the Silver Star. 2 weeks later, they called him asleep again. Well, they busted him.
Oh, shoot.
But they couldn't take away his Silver Star.
No.
Right.
That
Just rip off his rank.
yeah, that's it.
He still did a amazing thing there. So
Oh, sure. Believe it, it's almost heroic, or like being a hero, you know, because he did kill a lot of them. You know, he's probably saved a lot of lives too. But it took us about 3.5 hours to get him under control. They were running on
That's a relatively long firefight, isn't it?
Well, yeah, I would say so. I mean, that's the only experience. And luckily, I wasn't in that sector that night.
Okay.
I was more toward the back, where the planes were kept in the hangars and stuff. But it was interesting. It was like in that movie, John Wayne, The Green Berets.
Yep.
Started like this, and then and then they just, and you just like, I'm back there. I had only been there maybe 4. That was my 4th night working.
Really?
And I couldn't believe. And then this guy, they show up in the Jeep. He says, "Hey man, you loaded up? You okay?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "What are you doing? Get in your foxhole." And I got my. He said, "Are you loaded up?" I said, "No." "Well, load up." You know, and I did, and I got in my foxhole, and he took off. And never saw him again. And he was like a week from going back home.
Oh, geez.
Oh my god.
Yep. It's just weird how things turn out, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I'm just happy that I wasn't in the front line like the real heroes. Them guys, they had it bad, you know. One firefight was good enough for me, and one skirmish, and then I was elected to volunteer to do a convoy from Tan Son Nhut to Phuong Thao, and we had some Caribou aircraft there. The Air Force gave all the Hueys to the Army, and the Army gave us all the Caribous, which were slow-moving transport planes. And our job was to go down there and provide security. And that was on the South China Sea, fellas. I mean, you know, it was rather safe. And that was a good stay there. Yeah.
Now,
9 months.
Weren't you riding a gun on that convoy? Or?
Yes, I was. I wasn't even 21 years old. I was 20 years old. Me and this, I'll never forget him. I think his last name was Sagers. I can't think of his first name right offhand, but I can see him in my mind. And I was his rider, his gun rider. Had an M60 on a tripod and flak jacket, bullets crisscross, a 38, my M16.
Oh my gosh.
The back of the Jeep loaded with grenades and more bullets. And I wasn't afraid of, if things are going to come down, they're going to come down without you knowing. I was afraid of the fools in front of me in that convoy flicking a cigarette and falling in the back of our Jeep. That was my concern, really.
Blowing all your grenades.
Yeah, really. We would have been blown to smithereens,
Now, didn't you say that wasn't it a pastor? No.
I'm sorry?
Didn't you say there was like a pastor who rode the gun? I'm thinking of somebody else.
Maybe you're thinking of somebody
Something
else.
else.
No, I'm the only one that had control of the tripod,
okay.
yeah. And he was the driver, and we leapfrogged. That was an interesting ride, though. It was something else. We didn't stop for nothing. Our orders were, no matter if it's a car, if it's children, war is hell. You get a lot of weird advice.
I can imagine.
Usually not good. And you have to do things that maybe you don't have to, but because you're, in this case, it's war. War's hell.
Yeah.
You have to follow orders, Well, that's the way it was now. Now, I don't know what it's like. I think it's a little bit more lax. I don't know. Maybe my way of thinking might be wrong. Back then, discipline that was it.
Yeah.
You couldn't say no. They'd pitch you out.
Did you ever say no?
Hell no. I learned early. I learned early not to say no.
What did they do?
Even to cut pair of potatoes, KP. Yeah, I'll do it.
What happened to the guys who said no?
Oh, well, they usually give them a good tongue lashing. If that didn't work, maybe a swift kick in the ass. Oh, no, seriously. Back then, I remember we were on a basic training, and this fella from Toledo, I can't remember his name, but I can see him. So our TI says, look, if you guys stand still, don't move, don't even blink, stay still, we'll go give you a weekend town pass. So here we are, off 100 of us. I don't even remember how many was in the flight, maybe a few more. And there's a wind blowing, and our fatigues are just wavering in the wind. Then this guy just in front of you, like two folks in front of me, he moved ever so slightly, but that TI went on, boom, went and kicked him in the rear. Did not tell you not to move. Man, that was rough.
I bet that was rough to watch.
They can't do that. Well, my understanding, I've been told they can't do that no more.
No, they can't.
They can probably chew you out as much as they want, but they can't harm you physically.
And, you meet all kinds. I really had to change my mind, my thoughts about people in general of all races,
Yeah.
Because, boy, you got some crazy, crazy folks, And I know this one particular fella, he didn't like to take a bath, and we already been there.
Oh, jeez.
We had already. Oh, you find him, believe me.
Oh my gosh, really?
and we've been there about a month. He hadn't taken a bath.
Oh my gosh.
Ooh.
That's disgusting.
In September, in San Antonio, and you're talking about 95 degree
that's
weather.
gross.
Humidity's awfully high and stuff, so you're gonna perspire. So finally, this guy, he got the leaders together and says, hey, you guys go get that guy, use a scrub brush, use whatever you have to, put him on the ground, but I want him showered now. So they went, 5 guys, the platoon leaders, went and got him, Gave him a shower.
Oh my gosh.
And then they got him out of our flight, put him in some place where eventually about 2 weeks later, they gave him dishonorable discharge. Or general discharge, not dishonorable, general.
Mm.
Was it because of that?
Yes.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
pH, or, your own body.
Yeah.
You just can't
You
go
can't do
around
that.
smelling like that.
No.
No, that's just
You know?
disgusting.
And I'm pretty sure there's still folks like that.
Oh, yeah. I've met
Especially
some
in the
people.
service. Especially, yeah. But it was very interesting. I enjoyed my job as a police officer, and I was telling James that when I got out of the service, I wanted to become a state trooper here in Ohio. Oh, wow, 4 years under my belt and a police academy certificate and everything. So I thought I'm in. What's your nationality? Mexican American, sir. You don't qualify. How tall are you? 5'9.5", sir. You have to be 6 foot. How much you weigh? Oh, about 120 pounds. Not enough. You gotta weigh. It was bad. I really felt slighted, and
Do you think it really was because of your race, mostly?
I think so.
Do you think it was?
Yes, to be quite honest. Back then it was a good old boys outfit,
Yeah.
A lot of white police officers. Now it's pretty diverse, but geez, they're just as bad.
Yeah, they're
Yeah,
super
no
strict,
no
I've heard.
matter what race they are,
Yeah.
if they don't like you, they're gonna beat you up. They're gonna throw you in jail. They're gonna lie. I don't know. Things are so wrong anymore. And of course, that's my opinion.
It's pretty true.
Yeah. And I was telling James one time we had got off at 4 a.m. About an hour later, we started feeling the ground shake at our barracks where we were sleeping. And it was about 4:30 in the morning. It wasn't quite about dusk. The sun was barely coming over the mountains. And shaking and shaking. We went outside. The lighter it got. Well, lo and behold, if we didn't see a B-52 bombing raid. They were bombing the crap out of this mountain. 3 B-52s, and then they circle, and then here comes 3 more. They fly in 9s. And when they drop the bombs, they fly 3 at a time, and then they curve around and come back around till they discharge all their bombs. And then after that, lo and behold, we saw the paratrooper drop. Oh, man, I mean, it must have been a couple of thousand.
Holy crap.
Wow.
It was a bunch of troops, and I think they were mostly our vans, South Vietnamese Army. And it was just a beautiful sight. No, I mean, I've never seen anything like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, I wouldn't.
Yeah.
I can't even imagine what that would look like.
All of us there, we were out there looking at the whole operation. We were just, we just couldn't believe it. We saw something. I told James, I saw every American plane made and used during that time period. I saw you too. Yep. Well, he took off early in the morning, and cloud ceiling there in Nam is real low. I don't know. To me, if you feel you could touch them, but they had to be at least 200-300 feet high.
Really?
The clouds still, but that's low to me.
Yeah.
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 And this thing took off at the end of the runway. I swear it didn't even go a quarter mile. Didn't seem like it. Afterburners 100. And then that sucker went in a 45-degree angle. Boom! Shot through them clouds and just left a big old hole.
That's
Yeah,
cool.
yeah. I was really cool. I saw every plane used at that time. Yep.
Wow.
Yeah, it was amazing. I can talk about stuff like that because I wasn't in the front lines, or I'm not mentally crippled from post-traumatic syndrome or whatever they call it.
Yeah.
Them fellas now, they're heroes. Those are real men. They came back crazy, but
But
They fought for their country.
Yeah, they fought
There's a
for the
reason
country.
too. They,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
stuff
They
they
had to
saw.
You see a lot of stuff, man.
Yeah.
You know, like them 22, 23 bodies that I saw there in the streets. But I went and had lunch. I was hungry, man. You know, it's about 11:30 in the morning. But that's the way it is. You know,
I
don't think I've seen 23 dead bodies in my life.
even at
I've been
at like a funeral.
I've
you
been
know.
to a lot of
Yeah,
I've been
really.
to a lot of funerals, but I don't think I've seen 20. I don't know if I've been to 23 funerals.
You know, I was thinking because you were saying you were about 20 years old when
Yeah.
you were in service.
yes.
And I'm just like we're all 22 here, us three,
Well,
and we haven't been through that. You know, in our lifetime, we've been like there's been wars and there's been stuff in the Middle East and all that, but the three of us we've never been in boot camp or anything. We've had pretty much a simple, easy life. It seems like
We've never
Well,
we've never even been in a fist fight.
yeah.
yeah,
Well, it was a choice of mine, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The reason why I did it, fellas, I'm telling you the truth, is because I didn't want to get dragged into the army. I knew they were going to put me in the front lines. No, my chance of survival would be 0 to 5, probably. You know.
yeah.
Yeah.
So that's the only reason why I went in the Air Force. But my parents had to sign me. And I was 17 years old, and I came out. I was 21. By then, when I came back from Nam, I married my my ex-wife. But and then I was stationed in Boston, Massachusetts, Hanscom Airfield. I go there. What happens? We have a huge airplane crash at the airfield. Man, I just, it seems like violence followed me. But that was an interest. Yeah, that airfield in particular was good work, you know. And then he wanted me to sign up for an extra 4. I said, well, give me a promotion and send me to Spain, because I knew that was a 3-year tour. And he says, the recruiter said, well, you're not giving me too much time, Alba. I said, well, if you really want me, you'll find a place for
Yeah.
me, you know. But no, it didn't pan out. Good thing,
Yeah.
yeah. But I survived, and it was quite an experience. Would I do it again? And I volunteered. I was there at Maelstrom Air Force Base for about a year. I volunteered because I was heartbroken. I wanted to kill myself. My girlfriend left me. Man, I was really emotional. So I volunteered. A year later, when I didn't want to go, but because of this moron getting in an accident on the base, we all got shipped out,
Oh, jeez.
you know. That's been my luck ever since. Yeah, but that's okay. We're still all out here, right, fellas?
Yeah.
Yeah, no matter what. Sure is. And then, of course, sometimes you think, maybe I should have stayed in there 20, you know. At least 10, you would have got some kind of retirement.
Okay. I didn't know you got retirement just after 10 years.
Yeah, I believe it. I don't know if that still works that way, but I think it does. At 10 years, you can get out, and you got a 10-year retirement. But you can't collect it. I don't know if you can collect it right away. I'm not sure. Some guys say you can, because it's not Social Security.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It's a government thing, so I don't know. Who knows? But
The government's always picky about their money.
Oh, yeah.
But they better pay their soldiers. I mean,
Yeah.
Well, you know, that's one thing I have to give Trump some credit here. He's done quite a few things for the veterans ever since he's been elected. But more could be done. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think especially I had some friends that 2 of them that died, and I can't remember his name. He was a good friend of mine too. Dick Emsch. He went, came back all disfigured. I couldn't believe it. And then this other fella, we used to call him Wheels, because after he came back from Nam, he was paralyzed from the waist down. We had to take him everywhere in his wheelchair. But those are the personal experience I have, and it hurt when that Tony Reese. He was my next door neighbor growing up. He was 2 years older than I. He was in a medvac, and they shot the medvac down. And of course, you know, his mom. I told my mom afterwards, why did she have to say that? Maybe I'm talking too much.
No.
No, not at all.
No, you're
Okay.
good.
Not at all.
She, I went and paid my respects and stuff, and I swear to God, when she grabbed my hand, wow, they was all white. I couldn't. I had to wait about a minute for it to get blood back in her. She really shocked me. She said, "You came back. Why didn't Tony?" And
Oh man.
You don't know what to say to
Yeah,
that.
no.
I was just, my mouth was open, and I didn't know. I just walked away. And later on, I asked my mom, "Why did she have to ask me that question?" And my mom just said, "She's in great emotional stress right now." And I said, "Yeah, I thought about it." I said, "Yeah, I guess. But boy, she squeezed the heck out of that hand." Boy. I felt real bad afterwards for saying that, but
Well, I mean, because you're probably already thinking that. And
Well,
so to
of
have it
course.
reinforced,
Yeah.
it just isn't a nice. It's
And
not.
Yeah.
another thing is you also went through it there. Like,
and
You experienced it.
and you, yes, especially that. And then you grew up with him. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Yeah.
He was 2 years older than I, and we lived next door to each other.
And it's
But,
it's just that
Emotional
yeah.
bond you have with that person.
Mm-hmm.
Whether, even though he was 2 years older, I didn't hang with his posse or his friends, but I knew them all. You know.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I was just, they didn't want a little kid like me around. That's the way they looked at me. You know how them older guys look at it, especially in
Oh, yeah.
school.
Oh,
you
yeah.
know.
We just beat the tar out of our my brother-in-law John. He's 15.
Oh, yeah, your brother-in-law, yes. That's right.
Silas and I just beat the tar out of him.
Oh, yeah.
all
All
the
the time. Totally.
Yeah, but it was okay. I mean,
So
you know.
how was adjusting coming back from Nam?
Now that I even noticed we got married through the church, blah blah blah, and all that. And then I remember we would go into. She was from El Paso, and we every day we'd go have some fun over there in Juarez, across the border town. And I remember a lot of times I had a month off, so I spent my whole month there. We walk over there, and of course, it's a big city, El Paso and Juarez together, a lot of folks. But I go to Juarez, and I start walking against the commercial buildings, and I'd walk maybe 2 blocks, and I'd stop with my back against the building and look around. I see a jet commercial or whatever, and right away I'd look to see what it was. And one time, I remember... before we got married again, we were asleep, me and my brother-in-law and a cousin of his. And I remember myself not getting up. I remember being at the window like this, crouched. And I'm telling Johnny, my brother-in-law, "Man, give me my M16, give me my M16. And you know how you dream and sometimes
Yeah.
you wake
Yeah.
up
You wake up and do it.
saying
Yeah.
what you... Yeah, that's exactly what happened to me. And I turned around. He says, my brother-in-law, well, to be at the time, he says, "You all right?" I said, "Yeah. I'm just having a bad dream, man,
Oh
I
my
guess."
gosh.
Yeah.
I've heard of that stuff happening. My uncle was a CB. Well, my
Yes.
great uncle was a CB.
Right.
And for years after he came back,
Yes.
he had to sleep outside because he was too confined. He had to, because I mean, CBs, they go and they build
Stuff.
bridges and stuff.
Right.
They go in before anyone else. So he was out in all of it. And so when he came back, he had to sleep outside, and he had to.
Yeah, he had to get used to that
Yeah.
because that's what he was used to, you know. And at any given notice, you got to be ready.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, and then that's when I'm waking up, saying it, and I look at John, my brother-in-law. He says, "You all right?" I said, "Yeah, it was just a bad dream, you know." But that didn't last forever. Maybe a couple of weeks that I acted like that, or you know, by the time I got to Boston in January, I was pretty well mellowed out. You know, every once in a while, I'd sit up, you know, but nothing
Nothing super long
No.
term. That's good.
or serious. You know,
Yeah.
I didn't have what they call PST?
PTSD.
PTSD, yeah.
Yeah,
Post-traumatic stress disorder.
Disorder, something like right. I didn't see the real bad stuff, but what I did see was bad enough.
Yeah.
You know, if you know what I mean. Just being there, man.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I believe it.
You know,
And hearing what the other guys are talking about and just seeing, I mean, you're there, obviously, so.
yeah,
Or just seeing the aftermath of it all,
exactly.
even if you don't directly, I don't know.
And you're always mentally ready, you know, in case of an attack or whatever. Especially them boys that were out like at Quezon. I don't know how them guys managed to live out there.
What was out there?
Quezon.
Yeah, what was
It was a mountaintop.
Mm-hmm.
And they were surrounded by I don't know how many Viet Cong and North Vietnamese troops. But every night, it was a battle for their life.
Holy
Not so
crap.
much in a day because they would call in airstrikes and stuff, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But little did we know that them suckers were living underground. They had cities, hospitals.
Really?
What?
Oh yeah.
I've heard about that.
The catacombs.
See and the French when they decided to give up 56, I think they left 58.
Yeah,
somewhere around there. I'm not a history buff, but they forgot to tell us, hey, these fools live on the ground. They got cities and stuff. They could have at least told us that.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like that's kind of
That'd be nice to know.
Yeah, right. They knew it. So, I guess they didn't pass the memo around to everybody.
And there were U.S. soldiers, what they called like tunnel rats that would actually go into the.
Them guys had some cojones. Man.
Yeah.
No way.
Did you know any of you guys?
No.
Okay.
No.
I didn't know if you knew anybody because I can't imagine too many of them came out.
Yeah, I bet you their mortality rate was kind of high.
Yeah.
At least 50%.
Yeah.
Ooh.
At least. I'm
Yeah.
just taking a wild guess, you know.
Yeah, and I actually know because my uncle was in Vietnam, and I forget what branch he was in. I think he was Army. And then I actually did some yard work, and we've known him through our church. His name was Denny, and he actually was, I can't remember what branch he was in, but he actually is suffering from the aftermath of Agent Orange.
You know, now that you mention that, I got, about 10 years ago, I got sugar diabetes. So a friend of mine kept telling me, you're a veteran, ain't you? Yeah. You been to NAM? Yes. Go to the Fort Wayne hospital, and they'll take care of your VA office, you know. Because I didn't have a job, I didn't have insurance. So it took me about 6 months. Finally, I said, okay. Well, come to find out, I had a 660 sugar blood reading.
Holy crap.
I should have been dead.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm serious.
Wow.
I
Good
should have.
Lord.
And to this day, though, I tell my significant other, I said, you know, Rebecca, they must have mixed up my test results or something, because there's no way I'm going to live through a reading like that.
No, not normally.
You know. So, make a longer story shorter, I showed him my proof that I was in NAM, gave him my DDD-14. Well, I'm 20% disabled, which ain't a whole lot. Only because I was in NAM, because of Agent Orange.
Okay.
That's one thing that I believe Trump did. He opened up these. Trump wasn't elected 10 months ago, but he's doing a lot for the vets now. So I'm 20% disabled.
What does that mean? You're 20% disabled.
Well, you can get 100% disability.
Okay.
Like these fellas that get.
Oh, you're talking stipend.
Yes.
Okay, so you're getting 20%
Right.
disability. Okay.
Yeah, which is disability, correct. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine.
Which isn't a whole lot, but it's something.
I just thought you meant like you were missing part of your pinky
Oh, no,
toe,
no.
and so you're only
No.
20% disabled.
No, only because I got sugar diabetes at a later date.
Okay.
And since I was in NAM and I wasn't around the Agent Orange, they automatically gave me 20%.
Okay.
And the reason because of that is because these these caribous that would go into the deep jungles and these land on dirt and whatever, they carry back body bags.
Okay.
And that, why when they were done for the day, they'd open the air out the back end, and we'd have to patrol the areas, walking. Boy, you could just this distinctive odor.
Because
body.
Yeah.
Because how hot is it?
formaldehyde.
How hot is it?
Hot?
Yeah. What's the temperature?
Man. Depending where, generally speaking, say you're at the beach or even town eating or something like that. In the summer, 110, 115
Oh,
degrees.
good Lord. So bodies.
But the humidity is what killed you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then if you were working the flight line, or where they had all the jets, preparing maintenance them for the next day, and they're always turning on the afterburners.
Oh my
the
gosh,
engines,
it's just gotta be.
so that part of the runway was 120 at least.
Oh my gosh.
And to boot, you probably got your kit on and everything, so you're not just wearing your t-shirt and your underwear or whatever.
No. Fatigues, your M16, your helmet, depending on the weather, your poncho. But that's about it. We didn't wear no flak vests then, because I don't know why. Now the fellows that the drivers around the security, they have flat jackets on, and the people, the dog people, K9
unit.
even the canines had flak jackets, and but it was okay. I made it, got lucky, but I'm not so lucky anymore.
Well, I mean, you're having a birthday this month?
No, it's September.
September. You said it. I can't remember.
Yes,
I have a horrible memory.
yeah. I can't believe I'm still here. Really, 73. I'll be 73.
Dang.
Yeah.
You don't look it.
No, you don't. I wouldn't have guessed
Not
it.
at all.
You look a day over
Well-
84. I mean,
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that's the way I don't know. I've got a lot of good friends that have moved on.
Yeah.
Didn't do half the fun stuff I have, and I'm still here.
Yeah.
That's what I tell Rebecca all the time. I said, if another, I just can't believe it, Beck.
Yep.
Both
of you guys are crazy.
Yeah, we are. That's why we're still. That's why we're still together too.
It's the crazy ones
That's right.
that stay together and live for the longest.
That's right. That's right. Keeps it interesting.
It does.
Yeah. You got to be a little bit
Doesn't
crazy.
doesn't say it's normal though. Doesn't
No,
mean it's
no.
normal.
Yeah, normal's not always fun.
Yeah.
It's overrated.
Yeah. Yeah.
So then you went from boot camp. Then you went to
Malscombe Air Force Base
and then you got into
for 2.5 years.
and then the guy had an accident. And you went to Nam
Yeah.
and you were in Nam for 2 years.
No, 1 year.
1 year.
They asked me to volunteer. I said, "You kidding me?"
Nope.
In fact, I thought they were. This is November of '67. I was getting out in June of '68, so I figured they'd give me early release.
Yeah.
From the hottest place on the planet to the coldest place at that time, which is Boston, Massachusetts, January.
Boston, Massachusetts.
10 feet of snow.
Wow. I just couldn't believe that either. And that's why I got out.
And so you were in Boston for how long?
6 months.
6 months, and then you got out and you were out.
Yeah, I got out. I didn't know again what I was going to do in my life. And then I wanted to be a state trooper. That went up.
That didn't pan
That
out.
didn't pan out. But I should have pursued a job as a Toledo, Ohio police officer.
Okay.
A detective.
Ooh,
I
that
would
would've
like
been
that
interesting.
kind of. I would like that kind of.
Anyway, did he have even more stories?
Yeah, really. And then, but no, my brother says, "Don't worry about it, kid." I don't know if you guys are familiar. There in Perrysburg, they have that Chrysler stamping plant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, that was my first job.
Okay.
Yeah, I was there for 7.5 years, and my marriage was going south, and I just decided I need a change, and I moved to Houston.
Okay.
Yeah.
What'd you do in
I should
Houston?
have never left that job,
Oh.
No, should have never. But that's another story, right? I had fun.
So what'd you do in Houston?
I did a little bit of everything. Lab work. I worked in a bank. I worked for a shipping company, like steamship company. And then my last job for about 6 years, I worked for this company that was doing digital mapping
Digital mapping.
of Harris County.
Okay.
And what they did, they mapped out all the properties within the county.
Okay.
And my job was to research, make sure that this property was for this on the map, on the digital map, you know.
Yeah.
And if there was a discrepancy, we had to research it. That was
Okay.
interesting. Yeah.
So kind of like a surveyor, but a digital.
Yeah, I was in office.
Yeah.
I was what they call, and then from there, I got another job as a, what do they call it? It was Stewart Mortgage Information. And I was a researcher for nowadays, if you buy some property, a house, let's say,
Yeah.
acreage or not. I think it's a federal law, and then most of the mortgage companies follow through with that. You want to know if the mortgage companies are going to want to know if that's in a flood zone. So my job was to go to, there was like 8 of us, 50 states, and we split that up. And we were assigned states, and our job, we were the specialists. Your address came in. I had to research. Flood zone, yes. Flood zone, no. But you know what, fellas? Well, what's going on in the plant now? I buy a flood zone whether you want to or not.
Pretty much.
Because isn't it flooding everywhere?
Yeah.
Pretty much, yeah.
You know?
Especially here in
Even
Northwest Ohio.
Well, and these maps are government maps from the late 40s and up to about 62. So they haven't been updated since.
Wow.
And you know a lot of flooding has happened every and anywhere here in the U.S. of A.
Well, when we were in Defiance, there was a flood pole, and it had different markings.
Yeah.
It was like the flood of 1918, and then the flood of 1962.
Yes, I know. Yeah.
And the deepest flood I think was in the 80s, something like that. Maybe not. I can't remember the date, but it was the library in Defiance would have been underwater. The entire Kingsbury Park would have been underwater.
Wow.
It was a really
From the
deep.
hairstyles, all the hairspray.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, that's what happened to Galveston about 10 years ago? That bad one?
I don't think I know about that
I
one.
I
know
can't
about it.
remember the name of it. So we went to visit 2 years later. Then we went downtown Galveston. Oh yeah. They were above the door of every store in
Oh, my
downtown
goodness.
Galveston.
Wow.
Maybe 3 or 4 feet on top of the door. The entrance.
Oh my gosh.
It was bad, they said.
A redneck would still try to drive through it with his big truck, though.
Yep. In some cases, you might get through there, though.
Yeah.
They got big trucks, don't they?
A lot of them do.
Yeah,
Can't imagine how many houses. Can't imagine how many houses were, lost with that much water in them. You can't
yeah.
salvage that.
And
It's
that's
just gone.
And that's just Galveston. You got to think about the whole coast. And Houston. I even got hit worse.
Oh, gee whiz.
Yep.
We lost a mic. We'll just
Sam was
pause.
fiddling with it, that's why.
Sam, you can't.
I watched him touch
no,
it.
just
you
put it
really
back
lost.
up. Just take that off.
It's gonna fall off because that. The
Well,
table-
ours didn't fall off.
Well, you guys have really nice mic stands. I feel like a news reporter now. Hi,
Anyways.
welcome to 13 ABC.
Yeah, really.
No, just grab the thing and whatever. I don't care.
Hey, a reporter's job would have been a good job.
That would have been a good job. Then you get to go and chase storms and go all over
Yeah.
the world.
You got to really like to talk. You fellas look like you like to talk.
We like to hear our own voice. That's why we have a podcast.
Really.
Me, as I've said like 4 words this entire podcast.
We're very conceited. We just
Well, we have someone actually interesting to talk
That's true.
to.
That's very true.
Please,
Normally it's us
please.
3 and we're like, I don't know, who's more interesting? We're all kind of boring, so let's just all talk.
quick. Let's try and be funny so people find us interesting.
Hot joke.
So you did that for how many years? You said you jumped jobs in Houston. How many times? For how long?
Oh, I lived there for 23 years.
23 years.
Yeah, and then I wanted to come home because my grown-up children were having babies, and here I am.
And here we are.
Yeah.
And you're living with your beautiful significant other, Rebecca.
Yes, she's got a nickname. Her name is Becky Crocker.
Becky Crocker.
You know that.
I do know that.
Okay.
And she is keeping it pretty straight and narrow, right?
Yeah, she likes to cook. I got lucky.
Well, we were talking on the way over here. I asked if he had gone to a restaurant. And he said, no, we haven't been there in a while, or for many years. And then you said that you haven't gone to many restaurants recently.
No, we got spoiled. I did, and she was born and raised over there in Texas, so she's a native Texan. You get used to that good golf, fish, shrimp, crabs.
Oh yeah.
Crayfish, crawfish, whatever. I don't eat none of that, but I'll eat all the fish and shrimp. And the restaurants, the creme de la creme of any Chinese, Taiwanese, Spanish, Mexican-American, Mexican, Korean, man. I've had some good barbecues in a lot of backyards with my friends,
Oh, yeah?
Well, back then I was a fun guy. I was a boozer, stuff like that. That was fun. But I'd always keep one eye open because I would watch these characters, how they would grill.
Mm-hmm.
And if I was interested, I'd ask a lot of questions. So he's tried some of my grilled stuff.
Anything
He's still here.
anything he makes on the grill is pretty much phenomenal.
I have
Ain't
had
killed
some
him.
of his leftovers from when.
Oh, you
and-
did?
Yeah,
I think
Yeah,
from
well,
you,
did
and
you-
it's fantastic.
Did you make the bacon wrapped jalapenos?
No, Becky Crocker did.
Okay, those were amazing.
Rebecca,
those
Rebecca
are amazing.
yeah. And then he made the rib. Did we even eat the ribs?
I didn't
Yeah,
get to the ribs.
I think we just had the jalapenos, but you probably ate the ribs.
You didn't share the ribs, bro?
Well, why would I?
Wow.
No, he's given us ribs, and then they invited us over to do we just got invited over to eat their food many times. And one of my favorite was the brisket you made that one time.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, phenomenal.
Yeah, I'm going to do it again. So I'll invite you and Olivia over.
Sounds
Yeah,
good.
you know it. Maybe you can bring one of these fellas over.
Just one, because you can't have two of them.
No. Sam eats less than me, so take him.
He eats less than you?
Probably.
I don't know if that's true.
Probably not. I don't know.
Yeah.
I like food.
I don't know if that's true.
Next up, probably for my birthday, Rebecca's birthday is the 25th August. Mine's the 28th September. And we usually have it around the second week of September. We celebrate both
Both of them.
Yeah, we'll invite you over. I have them give you guys a buzz.
All right. Well, do you have anything else to add to us?
No, sir. I think I talk too much.
No, you didn't
No,
talk
absolutely
too much.
not.
This podcast was technically about you, so it's perfect.
This
That's
is
the whole point.
This is the Richard Alba podcast, or the Richard Alba interview. That's what this is going to be
Well,
called.
thank you very much. I appreciate that. This is the first time that somebody with some brains have sat down and listened to me intently. Thank you, gentlemen.
Well, thank you for coming out.
I just
We-
hope I look good on the camera.
Oh,
too.
you do.
You do.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
So we really appreciate you sharing your stories and coming down and talking to us.
Anytime, fellas. Anytime.
So all right, well maybe we'll do a follow up in a month or
one day
year.
next time we'll talk about barbecue.
There we go.
There we
And
go.
That'd be awesome.
we'll bring Rebecca along and
There
force
you
her
go.
to talk.
Now that's the person. You know how she talks.
And we'll give her a couple beers.
There you go. Very good.
Very good.
Sounds like a plan.
So, all right. Well, thank you guys so much for joining us. And be sure to check us out on Facebook and Instagram. And if you have any questions, topics, people you want us to interview, or anything like that, be sure to email us or message us on Facebook or Instagram, thispodcastislava@gmail.com. You can listen to us on Spotify, iTunes, Google Play, PodBean, and you can watch us on YouTube. This Podcast is Lava or James Fox Podcast. Thank you so much for joining us, and have a wonderful morning, noon, or night.
Thank you, James.
Bye now.
Bad.